17 suitcases. 17 millions euros. 17 names. Ibrahim Traoré stared at the list he'd laid out on the table. This, he said slowly, is all money earned from our gold. The silence in the airport VIP lounge was thick, almost suffocating. Wagadugu Airport at this hour, usually so quiet, almost deserted, felt different tonight. It was nearly midnight, and outside, the African sky stretched vast and starry. Inside, though, tension hummed like electricity. Normally, only a handful of night shift workers and maybe a few stragglers would be here. But tonight, Ibrahim's special security team was everywhere, watching every corner. Red berets soldiers stood poised. Armored vehicles encircled the French diplomatic plane on the runway. Its engines were still running, the pilot waiting for permission that would never come. The windows of the VIP lounge fogged from the cool night air outside. But inside, every breath felt heavy with anticipation. Around the gleaming, polished table sat Burkina Faso's young leader Ibrahim Traoré himself, the sharp intelligence chief Colonel Madou Cabaret, the airport director Youssoufzane Dio, Justice Minister Aminata Traoré, and of course, the evening's reluctant star, French Ambassador Jacques Dubois. Sweat slicked down Dubois's forehead, soaking into his expensive suit. His hands twitched nervously as he shifted in his chair, trying and failing to hide it. "Mr. President," he began, voice cracking just a little, "this must be some mistake. Diplomatic immunity, international law." Traoré raised his hand to cut him off, not with anger, but with a quiet, sharp disappointment. "Immunity, Ambassador," he said softly but firmly, "is not a shield to steal from our country. Holding a diplomatic passport doesn't give you license to rob us." Caber flipped open a thick file on the table, pulling out security camera photos. 11:47 p.m. 3 vehicles from the French embassy enter the airport. 11:15 p.m. 17 suitcases are loaded onto the plane. 11:38 p.m. You arrive at the VIP lounge. 11:45 p.m. The plane requests takeoff clearance. "These are diplomatic cargo," Dubois interrupted, his protest shaky. "Under the Vienna Convention, Aminata cut in, diplomatic cargo cannot contain weapons, drugs, or illegal materials. What's inside these suitcases?" Dubois fell silent. His eyes darted toward the door, but 2 soldiers blocked his escape. "Open them," Traoré said. Just one word, but it filled the room like a verdict. 2 soldiers lifted the first suitcase onto the table. Black, sturdy, and sealed with diplomatic stamps. Cabaret snapped photos of each seal carefully. "This is evidence," he said, "so no one can deny it." They unlocked the case. Inside, stacks of euro banknotes, bundled neatly, each bearing the seal of the French Central Bank. Caber counted quickly, 100 euro notes, 10,000 per stack, exactly 1 million euros. But that was just the start. Traoré opened a side compartment, revealing gold bars stamped with Burkina Faso's mark, the country's own gold, mined by its people. Dubois's face went pale. I'm not aware of embassy staff acting on their own," he stammered. "Don't lie," Aminata said harshly. "Every bar has a date. All extracted this past month with export records. So who's been getting paid?" The second suitcase was opened next, and out came hundreds of pages, documents that seemed to spill endlessly onto the table. Caber carefully scanned them under a UV light. "These aren't copies," he said with surprise. "They're originals. Real state documents." Traoré flipped through them, his expression growing heavier with every page. "Mining maps," he murmured. "Gold reserves that haven't even been announced publicly. Uranium deposits, and even," he hesitated, "newly discovered oil fields." "This is top secret," Caber added quietly. "Only 5 people were meant to know. You, me, the energy minister, the chief of staff, and..." He stopped abruptly, eyes locked on a name. "Geology Director Pascal Urego." Traoré finished the thought. "So he's been bought." Airport Director Dio leaned in. "How valuable is this?" Justice Minister Aminata explained. "If foreign companies get this kind of intel early, they can stake their claim before anyone else. Buy land, make deals with local firms, and rake in billions." When the third suitcase was opened, Dubois suddenly stood. "I need to use the restroom," he said, a little too quickly. "Sit down," Traoré commanded quietly but firmly. "We're far from done." Hundreds of photographs were spread out. Each one told a story. "Minister Sardou at a Paris nightclub," Cabaret said, showing a picture. "Who's with him?" "French arms dealers." "General Cow in a Geneva bank," he added. "What's in that briefcase?" "Money." "Governor Zongrana's wife shopping in Paris," Aminata pointed out. "Who's footing the bill?" "A French mining company." The photos were exhaustive. Dates, times, locations, meticulously recorded. It was a blackmail operation, executed with precision. Traore looked at Du Bois. What was the plan for these? Du Bois didn't answer. The fourth suitcase revealed something darker: weapons. Kaber backed away slightly. State-of-the-art spy gear. Tiny listening devices, cameras disguised as buttons, bird-sized drones, signal jammers, frequency scanners. These aren't normal gadgets, Cabaret said, holding one up. Look, NSA logo. American intelligence equipment. How did this get into France? Ties between NATO allies, Traore said, but they're used here, against independent African nations. The sixth suitcase was opened next, and the silence deepened. Inside were Burkina Faso's most confidential military documents, deployment strategies, weapons inventories, personnel lists, and critical weak points. This is supposed to be locked away in the general staff safe, Kaber said, stunned. Only 3 people have access. 4, Traore corrected. Don't forget Miriam, the cleaning lady. She's been working there for 20 years. Nobody notices her, but she hears and sees everything. Kaber shook his head, incredulous. That old woman, never underestimate, Traore said softly. The best spies are the ones no one suspects. The 7th suitcase was full of cash again, but this time in various currencies: dollars, euros, pounds, even Chinese yuan. Bribery fund, Aminata said grimly. Payment in whichever currency anyone prefers. Luxury items filled the 8th suitcase. Watches, jewelry, gadgets, each with a small card. Dear Minister Traore, Cabaret read, a gift for General Kfando's wife. Graduation present for Governor Zongrana's son. They're buying entire families, Aminata said with disgust. Not just officials, but their wives and kids. The 9th suitcase made Kaber drop the papers in disbelief. This can't be real. Inside were documents about Traore's private life, photos, audio recordings, even medical records. My last checkup, Traore said quietly, holding them. Only my doctor and I knew. Cabaret showed another file. Transcripts of your private security meetings, word for word. Traore studied them carefully. Last Tuesday, 3 p.m. secure room. Participants: me, you defense minister. Topic: closing French bases. We searched that room thoroughly, Cabaret said. No way a bug could be there. Maybe no bug, Traore said. But someone's listening. All eyes shifted around the room. Only 3 people entered that room, Cabaret said slowly. And all 3 are here. Unless... The defense minister? Aminata asked. He was sick, Dio said. No, Traore insisted. He came for 5 minutes, then left, saying he had an urgent call. Do you remember? Cabaret nodded. Yes, the call about the armed shipment from France. From France, Traore repeated quietly. What a coincidence. The 10th suitcase revealed scientific reports, geological studies, soil analyses, and water resource maps. These are state secrets, Aminata said quietly. Years of work by our universities and research centers. And now French companies will use these to make deals as if they discovered everything themselves, Traore added, shaking his head. The 11th suitcase was full of propaganda materials, brochures, posters, professionally made videos. Leader General Laurent Compere, Cabaret read. We believed he died in the 2019 coup attempt, Kaber said. Apparently, he's alive, Aminata added. And France has been hiding him. Traore pointed to the videos. Look closely. This was filmed in Paris. See the Eiffel Tower? The 12th suitcase contained chemicals, small bottles, powders, capsules. What are these? Dio asked. Kaber examined one and paled. Poisons. Different types. Odorless, tasteless, leave no trace. He read the labels. Mimics heart attack, stroke, or food poisoning. An assassination kit, Traore said quietly. Who's the target? Du Bois finally spoke. I'm just the courier. I don't know what these are. Traore shot back. You don't know? But you personally loaded 17 suitcases, and cameras show you. The 13th suitcase was filled with hard drives, USB sticks, CDs. Technology expert Abdul Lay examined them carefully. These hold copies of our entire digital infrastructure, he said. What does that mean? Aminata asked. Our government systems, banking networks, telecoms, all backed up here with passwords. So whoever controls these could cripple the country, Dio said grimly. Cyber warfare, Traore said. Wars aren't fought just with tanks anymore. The 14th suitcase contained oil and gas contracts, drafts, agreements, signatures. Look at this clause, Aminata said. 80% of oil and gas goes to the French company. Burkina Faso gets 20. And here's a 50-year concession, Cabaret added. They'll control our oil for half a century. The worst part, Traore said, is my forged signature. Perfectly done. The 15th suitcase held lists of names, hundreds, maybe thousands. Students, teachers, journalists, union leaders, clergy, artists. Dio read. What are these lists? Aminata asked. Tension filled the room. Threat lists, Traore said quietly. People opposing the regime. Aminata pointed out codes next to names. K means closed, T arrested, S exiled, U killed. How many marked you? Kaber asked. 47. Journalists, judges, opposition leaders, Aminata said. And me, Traore whispered, showing his own name first on the list. The 16th suitcase contained satellite images, detailed maps of every military base, weapons depot, fuel tank. Invasion plans, Aminata said. Everything's ready. Just waiting. Before opening the last suitcase, Traore took a deep breath. This is it, he said. Inside was a thick black file titled Operation Sankara, Secret. His hand shook slightly as he opened it. Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso's legendary leader, killed in 1987. 36 years later, Traore read the first page. Date, October 15, 1987, the day Sankara was assassinated. Objective, remove Sankara and install a pro-Western government. Participants, French Secret Service DGSE, CIA Liaison Blau 1 Carry, 12 Burkina Bay officers. Method, armed assault at palace meeting. Killing of Sankara and comrades. Result, success. Carry brought to power. French interests secured. Traore flipped to the last pages. Operation Sankara Phase 2. Date, 2023 to 2024. Target, Ibrahim Traoré, Sankara's successor. Objective, political pressure first, economic sanctions if needed, physical elimination last. Preparation, purchase 17 high-level officials. Backup leader, Laurent Compere. Budget, 50 million euros. Approved in Paris, operation active. The room was silent. Traore's face unreadable, but sadness lingered. 36 years, he said quietly. Same story, same killers. And with that, the weight of history settled over the room. It wasn't just about these 17 suitcases or the millions inside them. It was about years of stolen futures, of struggles fought in silence. But tonight, for the first time in a long time, the truth was laid bare. Whether the road ahead would be smooth or fraught with challenges didn't really matter. What mattered was that Burkina Faso, and perhaps all of Africa, had awakened. The fight for freedom, for control of their own destiny, had only just begun.